we continue with our detox series. Today we delve into a topic that extends beyond our planet yet impacts life here on Earth, space debris. Our speaker, Alma, will shed light on this pressing issue, exploring what space debris is, how it accumulates and the challenge it poses to satellites, space missions and even Earth-based systems. Alma will also discuss innovative solutions and global efforts to tackle this growing concern. This promises to be an eye-opening session. So without further ado, let's welcome Alma to the stage.
Good evening all, respected teachers, parents and students. Today we dwell into a critical yet often overlooked issue that affects our modern way of life and the sustainability of our space activities, space debris. This topic has the boundaries of science and scientifically impact disaster management, technology, global security and the sustainability of future space exploration. So first of all, what is space debris? Space debris or space junk refers to non-functional human-made objects in Earth's orbit. These include defuncted satellites, spent rocket stages, fragments from collision or disintegration. Traveling at a speed exceeding 28,000 kilometers per hour, even tiny debris like paint chips can cause significant damage to operational satellites and spacecraft. For example, the International Space Station has to adjust its orbit multiple times to avoid collision with debris. According to NASA, over 20,000 pieces of trackable debris exist in orbit today, with millions of smaller pieces that are too tiny to track but hazardous nonetheless. Now, why should we care about this space debris? The growing presence of space debris is not just a problem for space agencies. It has implications for every aspect of our daily lives. Satellites are integral to our daily lives, such as GPS navigation. It is used for Google Maps navigations. Next is communication system, enabling internet, TV and mobile networks. Next is weather forecasting, providing real-time climate and disaster updates. And the next is disaster response, supporting coordination efforts during emergencies. So next is the risk of Kessler syndrome. A single collision in orbital cores creates thousands of fragments, potentially triggering a cascading effect known as Kessler syndrome. This phenomena could make some orbit path unusable for decades or even centuries, paralyzing satellite operations. Imagine a world where GPS systems fail due to satellite damage. Disaster response teams would struggle to coordinate relief efforts, leading to delay, increased casualties and economic losses. Now, what causes space debris? Space debris accumulation results from various activities such as disinfect satellites. Satellites that have completed their operational life but remains in orbit without deorbiting plans. The next one is rocket stages. Spent parts of rockets abandoned after delivering their payloads. And the next one is collision and explosion. Example, in 2009, a disinfected Russian satellite collided with an operational US communication satellite, creating over 2,000 pieces of debris. And the last one is anti-satellite ASAT test, the deliberate destruction of satellites during military operations. Example, in 2019, India's mission Shakti created hundreds of debris fragments, sparkling international concerns about orbital safety. Now, let's dwell into some real-world examples for space debris. Including real examples strengthens our understanding of the dangers posed by space debris. So first one is in 2009 satellite collision. A disinfected Russian satellite Cosmos 2251 collided with the active US communication satellite Iridium 33 over Siberia. This incident created over 200 pieces of trackable debris which continued to pose a threat to operational satellites and the ISS. Next one is ISS debris avoidance. The ISS space station routinely adjusts its orbit to avoid collisions with debris. In November 2021, the crew settled in return capsules during a closed enclosure caused by the debris from a Russian ASAT test. Next is Florida re-entry incident 2024. In the same year, this debris from the ISS operations re-entered Earth's atmosphere and struck a residential home in Florida, narrowly missing a family. This incident brought the risks of uncontrolled re-entries into sharp focus. Now, what are the effects of disaster space debris in disaster professionals? So first one is the communication disruption. Damaged communication satellites can lead to loss of contact during emergencies such as earthquake, flood and hurricanes. The second one is navigation challenges. Compressed GPS system can delay the deployment of emergency aid and rescue team. Next is the re-entry of hazardous. Uncontrollable debris re-enters threatened populated areas. For example, in 2024, debris from Chinese Long March rocket stage fell to Earth, prompting evacuation plans and highlighting the risk of such events. Similarly, a Florida family narrowly escaped injury when debris from the ISS crashed into their roof. Now, what are the impact of space debris in disaster management? The ripple effect of space debris extend into disaster management, exacerbating the following challenges. First one is the increased response times. Delay in satellite data can hinder emergency response coordination. The second one is misallocation. Navigation issues can misdirect critical aid supplies. The third one is economic losses. Damaged satellite necessitates costly replacement, increasing the financial burden on space agencies. Now, these factors underscore the needs for a global coordinated approach to space debris mitigation. Now, let's see what are the methods to remove space debris. So, first one is active debris removal, ADR. Techniques such as robotic arms, nets or harpoons to capture debris and deorbit it. For example, the European Space Agency's Clear Space 1 mission plans to remove a disinfect satellite by 2026. The next one is laser ablation. Ground-based or space-based lasers are used to nudge debris out of orbit or vaporize it. The third method is drag enactment devices. Sails or balloons attached to satellite increase atmospheric drag, causing debris to burn up the re-entry. The last one is on-orbit servicing. Repairing or refueling all satellites to extend their operational life instead of abandoning them. Now, who contribute to space debris? Space debris is shared responsibilities with contribution from spacefaring nations such as US, Russia, China and India or other countries too. Next one is the private companies like SpaceX, which has launched nearly 5,000 Starlink satellites. And the last one is the military operations, anti-satellite test and other defense related activities. Now, some recommendations for reducing space debris. Addressing the space debris problems requires proactive measures such as adopt international guidelines, implement and enforce debris mitigation standards such as those proposed by the Interagency Space Debris Coordination Committees IADC. And the second one is post-mission disposal plans. Ensure satellites and rockets are equipped with systems to deorbit or move to graveyard orbits. Next one is invest in debris removal technologies. Scale up missions like Space Clear 1 to tackle existing debris. Innovative satellite designs. Encourage reusable, repairable and long-lasting satellites. And last one is global collaboration. Develop a unified international framework for funding and regulate debris mitigation efforts. So in conclusion, I would like to say that space debris is not just a scientific issue. It is a growing threat to the global security, technological process and disaster response capabilities. By understanding the problem and taking collective action, we can ensure that the space remains sustainable environment for future generations. It is our responsibility to act decisively, fostering innovation and global collaboration. Let us leave a legacy to sustainable space exploration, not of just orbital chaos. Thank you.
Alma, for that fascinating presentation on space debris. It's incredible to learn about the complexities of managing debris in orbit and the critical steps being taken to ensure the sustainability of our space activities. It was a wonderful session. As always, it's inspiring to see the depth of research and passion in these sessions. Let's keep the momentum going as we explore more intriguing topics in the upcoming talk. Wishing everyone a pleasant evening and looking forward to seeing you all the next session. Thank you everyone.